Hello! Today I'm just starting this video without any makeup on my face because I want to review these brushes. These are by BH Cosmetics. I was looking for a few brushes and then it turned out that all those brushes were in the set and that was cheaper than to buy just those specific brushes separately from other brands. So that's why I bought this. And yeah, it's I think it's called Gold Rose or Rose Gold collection thing. It has the same name as a more expensive brand makeup brush collection thing has, but these look different and yeah, they were cheaper, so that's why I chose these. So yeah, basically the reason I started out with a bare face is simply because I want to use these brushes to make a look today, just to try them out, because that seems to be the most logical way to review them. And I also want to show you the brushes how they are when they're like, you know, when they arrive, when you've ordered them. So yeah. Which is without makeup on them already, so that's why I'm showing you the brushes first and then I'll just do the entire review thing. But yeah, they come in this brush roll, and then there's a little thing here that can be opened, and then inside obviously are the brushes. There's 25 of them. They're both face brushes and, you know, eye and eyebrow brushes, so it's pretty nice. You'll see the brushes from up close later. But yeah, and I really also like the whole pattern in the fake leather. Really pretty. So yeah, let's go try them out. Okay, right now I'm just using the foundation brush to apply BB cream, because I currently don't have any foundation in my exact shade. So I'm using BB cream by Kruidvat. And yeah, the first thing I noticed is that it sort of feels like you're applying it with your fingers, but then, you know, more hygienic because it's a brush obviously. And also this BB cream sort of gets darker once it's on the skin, so it doesn't match my skin perfectly either, but yeah. Oh well, it's all about the brush in any case. So yeah, and the brush works really well. It's also pretty easy to get through, to tiny corners, like with the eyes and things like that. And yeah, this really smooth. It feels really smooth. It doesn't sting or anything, so that's really good. And yeah, I like it. Also, it's a good thing that this is a dark brush, because I do also have a white foundation brush. It works really well, but it's like, you know, disastrous trying to get it clean, basically, because it's white, and this one obviously isn't white, which makes life just, yeah, it just makes life easier, basically. I don't think this has any sort of specific eyeliner brush. It doesn't have eyeliner brushes. I meant concealer brushes. So I'm just using an eyeshadow brush for that. Also from this collection. And I'm using the Catrice Camouflage Cream in Ivory as usual. And yeah, personally I prefer to use a sponge for concealer, but when applied with a brush it usually does look a bit like, it usually keeps more coverage. Which is actually why I prefer to use a sponge, because it just looks more subtle and natural. But yeah, because I just want to try everything in the set, I'm just using a brush, and it actually works really well. It does of course looks a bit more thick than if you'd apply it with like your fingers or, you know, a sponge. But it does work, and it also blends really nicely at the edges. So there's not like one big spot of paleness. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this brush isn't meant for this, but it does do a really good job at it. Okay, then it's time for powder. This brush by BH Cosmetics is a bit smaller than, well, more narrow actually than this one, for example, by Sigma. But yeah, it does look really nice. It is longer, and yeah. So basically I'm just going to use it with the Catrice Prime and Fine Mattifying Powder Waterproof. And it does pick up the product really good, and it doesn't give any circles or anything. It just blends it nicely. It does feel a little bit more floppy because it's thin and long, but the good thing about how thin it is that you can also just use it on your eyes without, you know, getting powder in places where you don't want powder. So that's really good. So yeah, I also like this brush. Okay, then I'm going to apply blush, because I use BB cream. My face isn't completely even and nice, and I've already applied blush to one side of my face, obviously. But yeah, other than that, my face isn't completely even right now, because I use BB cream that's actually a bit too dark for my skin, and it also doesn't cover completely, like it's sheer coverage. So I don't want to do a very extreme look because then it'll just look as if I was too lazy to apply, you know, an actual base underneath. I don't know. It just makes like that part of the skin look more obvious if there's like a really complicated makeup look on top of it. So I'm going to keep it a natural look, so I'm not going to shape. I'm just going to use my blush to sort of shape as I did here. Yeah, and for that I'm going to use this angled brush, which has about the same shape as this one, but again it's a little bit longer. I did notice one downside of the brush set, that it doesn't have a fan brush, so I had to use this fan brush by Maybelline to just wipe away some fallout from powder around my eyes. But yeah, if that's the only downside, then I can live with that. Also, one thing, there is no actual name on the brushes. I personally don't mind that because I usually end up just using brushes for what I want to use them for and not necessarily what they're marked as. But I can imagine for people who are new to makeup that it could be pretty useful to actually have it on the brush what they're called and what they're supposed to be used for. These ones don't have that, but yeah. In any case, I'm using the Catrice Illuminating Blush in Coral Me maybe. And just putting that below my cheekbones. Sort of where I also put a contour powder, but yeah, I'm just using blush for now. And this brush does really apply it well. Like it's really precise, yet it does actually blend it, so it's nice. And I really like the shape of it also. So yeah, so far I really like the face brushes. Hopefully the same will go for the eye brushes. And apply a little bit more blush on that side. Okay. Okay, time for the eyes. I'm going to start with the eyebrows actually. No particular reason, just because I feel like starting with the eyebrows today. I'm using the Essence Hello Autumn eyebrow set. And obviously one of the brushes from the BH Cosmetics set, this one. And I think it's actually an eyeliner brush, but I prefer to use brushes like these for my eyebrows. And I do notice that this one is a little bit more stiff than the brush I'm used to. However, it actually does work almost a little bit better than it, because yeah, because it's stiffer, it just really is, it's really easy to put the product in the exact place where you want it to be. And it picks up the product really well, because it always sort of annoys me, well it annoys me a lot when you have like a brush and you just press it into a eyeshadow or eyebrow powder or whatever, of which you know that it works well, it's like good pigment, well pigmented. And then the brushes doesn't pick it up at all, but these brushes do actually pick up color, so that's really nice. I switched to the darker shade now, by the way. But I'm just applying it really carefully, and the brush also does work well for that. Okay, that's enough. Yeah, I really like this brush. And then I'm using the eyelash brush. It had a name, but yeah, I forgot what it was. It was on the website. But yeah, it's an eyebrow brush. I use it as an eyebrow brush. You could also use a spoolie, but I prefer to use that for something else, which you'll see later. So yeah, I just use it to comb through the eyebrows, obviously. You can also use the other end to just comb through the eyebrows at first, but I usually don't do that because I have pretty thin eyebrows, so it's not as if they're going to be in the way while I fill them in. Okay, so yeah, I like this brush also. I hope that the teeth will actually stay in, because most of the time when I have a brush like that, then the teeth will end up falling off. This one used to have teeth until here, and even the other one in my makeup kit is missing about 3 teeth already, but yeah. Hopefully this one will last. So yeah, then moving on to the eyes. Just doing a sort of, well, not a really natural look, but sort of natural-ish. So I'm going to start with the Essence Hello Autumn eyebrow set with the eyeshadow palette. You could of course also use other eyebrow colors, or what? With eyebrows. You could also use other eyeshadow colors, because this one hasn't been available since last autumn, but yeah. I still have it lying around, so I'm using it. And I'm going to start with the eyeshadow brush. What I did notice is that like many of these brushes are a lot thinner than what I'm used to. Like I'm used to these type of brushes, is really thick, and these are really thin and narrow, and yeah. Which does mean that you have to put them like flat on the eye instead of like this, because otherwise you'll end up spraying eyeshadow all over your cheeks, which is not something you want. But they do pick up product really well, so I'm going to start with this color over here. And yeah, it's a pretty sheer color by the way, but the brush does pick it up really well. And I'm just putting it on the entire eyelid. So it does have a nice size for that as well. Okay, and once it's on there, I'm switching over to the next brush, which is one of the brushes because of which I actually bought this palette. It's an angled eyeshadow brush. Again, it's pretty thin. And I'm just going to use it to put this color over here in the crease. And again, with brushes like these, it's just really important to keep the brush flat and not like this, because otherwise it's going to cause more fallout than absolutely necessary. It does have a little bit fallout, but the eyeshadow has fallout anyway, so I don't know how much of that is actually because of the brush and how much of it is just because the eyeshadow is fallouty. That's not a word, I know. But yeah. And hopefully you can see now that the brushes do pick up the color really, really well. And what I love about this brush is that when I apply it, it sort of already looks blended, without me needing to like blend it for ages, which is why I love these angled brushes. I am going to use again my Maybelline fan brush to just wipe away the excess eyeshadow, and also a little bit here. Yep. Then I'm moving on to another brush. This one is one of which I didn't actually know it was in the set, because I just looked through it, saw some brushes I wanted and didn't really look at the rest. But I do really like it. It's sort of a pencil like shape, and I'm just using that with the darkest color and putting that directly into the crease. And this is why I really like the shape of this brush, because you can really apply it really precisely. Yeah, it does also blend it out a little bit because it's tapered. And I'm also applying a little bit of that in the upper lash line, just putting it in the outer V. Okay, and then I'm using another brush to blend it, the short blending brush. I don't know if it's actually called the short blending brush, but I just call it the short blending brush because it's obviously a short blending brush. And this one also feels nice on the eye. None of these brushes sting or anything, they just feel really comfortable, nice on the eyes. So that's always good. And this one does its job well, it blends without, you know, letting the color get up too much. Because I do want the black to be like, you know, actually in the crease and not too far up. I'm also blending a little bit on the eyelid here. And I'm also blending it into the inner corner. Okay, and when that's done, I'm moving on to a different palette. Oops. And I just dumped the brush of it on the ground. Yeah, I'll just grab it later. Black brush on the black floor. Not easy. But yeah, this is the Catrice Absolute Matte Eyeshadow Palette. And I'm using the large blending brush and this shade over here, just to blend a little bit more. Like the shade is only a little bit darker and a bit more cooler tone to my own skin, but it makes it a perfect blending shade. And I really like this blending brush because this feels just really, really comfortable on the eye. It's really soft. And it just blends really, really well. As you can see, hopefully. So yeah. Just blending this upwards a little bit. Okay. Almost done. Yeah. Now that's properly blended. I'm using the short eyeshadow brush and this really pale color over here to highlight underneath my eyebrows. Okay, and then I'm going to put some green underneath my eyes because I almost forgot about that. But yeah, for that I'm using this really short brush, and it's also a very useful brush to do an eyeliner because it's pretty stiff and just really easy to work with also. But I usually use it for eyeshadows. So I'm picking up this green eyeshadow with it and just carefully put it like between and right below my lower lashes. Just basically dabbing it on. And that way there's barely any fallout, so it's like a really precise application. And it really gets between the eyelashes. Of course it can get beneath the eyelashes, but the real trick is to get it between the eyelashes. Okay, that's far enough, I think. A little bit more here. Okay, then I'm going back to the small blending brush, and I'm just wiping it off a bit on the towel so there's no dark color left on it. And I'm using the palest color to highlight a little bit around the tear duct. A little bit more up here. Okay, and then it's time for eyeliner, for which I'm going to use an eyeliner brush. I did have this little like plastic thing over it, but I threw it away. I always throw it away because it's basically impossible to properly put it back on, and then if there's like one hair that's like standing to the side, then, you know, the entire thing just looks sort of weird and it's going to be annoying, and that's just not nice. And yeah, I'm going to use a Catrice cake eyeliner with that, and obviously some water to make the cake eyeliner into a eyeliner. So first I'm using the brush to blend the eyeliner. It's pretty stiff. Yeah, it's a pretty stiff brush, which I like because it does make sure that when you put eyeliner somewhere, the heart won't just suddenly go floppy and go anywhere, but yeah, it'll just go where you want it to go, basically. And also it makes a really nice thin line. I did accidentally put some in my eye, that's not supposed to happen. But that's my fault, not the brush's fault. But yeah, it's easy to make a really thin line with it. But obviously, as a little mother, I am going to make a winged eyeliner with it. Trying to get it symmetrical this time. Probably not going to end up symmetrical, just warning already. But yeah, it's really easy to work with. And I think it's really important in an eyeliner brush it's easy to work with, because eyeliners are difficult enough as it is. And when the brush makes it more difficult, it's just a bad brush. But this one isn't. This one is really a good brush. And because it's so thin, it's easy to make a sharp wing with it. Okay, almost done. One downside with this eyeliner, by the way, is that it doesn't cover in one go, so you have to go over it like 5 times or so, but it does make it a very good eyeliner to test an eyeliner brush with, because if it wouldn't be an easy to use eyeliner brush, then I would have already failed. Okay, I'm going to leave my eyeliner alone now. I think it looks pretty decent, not completely symmetrical, but it never does. Okay, yeah, I'm going to leave it alone now. But yeah, I like the brush. And yeah, really nice brush. So then it's onto mascara, obviously. I'm using the Color Star Mascara Design Mascara specifically because it's sort of clumpy, so that I can show you what I use this thing for. I'm just putting it both on the bottom part of my lashes, like, you know, below my lashes, and on top of them, just in case there's like powder on them, then it's just nice to make sure the top part is also really completely black. And then really important, while the mascara is still wet, you can use a spoolie to like twist through them, so that all the clumps will go out, and this will make for a very natural eyelash look, but it will look, you know, professional, I think, because there's no clumps in it. And what I also like to do is to then use whatever's left on the spoolie, just darken up the lower lashes with it to keep them natural as well. Okay, So those are the eyes. I'm just going to do my lips and then I'll get back to you with a conclusion about what I think about the eyeshadows, about the brushes. So my final conclusion about the brushes is that I really like them. That may have already been obvious throughout the video. Yeah, I do have one or two things that I am not all that positive about, which is like I only miss two brushes really, which are a fan brush and a lip brush. However, you could also use this one as a lip brush, so yeah. Really, I'm all about just using brushes for different things all the time. I mean, don't apply lipstick with it first and then try to apply eyeshadow with it without washing it, but you get what I mean. You can always make brushes multitask. So really the only thing I'm really missing is a fan brush, but you know, this one was like €2 or something, so it's not very expensive to buy a separate one. The brushes themselves I really like. They're really soft and the quality seems to be really good because I didn't notice any sort of hairs falling out. So it's really nice. I think they look really pretty. They're not as heavy as my Sigma brushes, but they are, you know, not, yeah, they're not heavy, but they're not too light either, you know. They're not like cheap feeling or anything. They just feel nice. They're really easy to work with, really soft on the skin, and I really like them. They also blend really well, so yeah, just looks, they make looks look good, basically. So yeah. So basically, would I recommend this product? Yes, definitely. I'd recommend it to people who, for example, don't have like a lot of makeup brushes yet and they just want to have like a nice set, but don't want to spend a huge amount of money. Then I definitely recommend these. But yeah, I'd also recommend these to people who, like me, are looking for nice brushes to put in their makeup kits, or who you just, you know, already love makeup, already have many brushes but just want more. Because, you know, it's just, yeah, they're only €25 and that's really cheap. And yeah, basically you get 25, you get 15 brushes for it. Not 25, 15 brushes for it. And it also contains brushes like this one, which I don't encounter very often, but it's very handy to have. So yeah, basically I definitely recommend this product. I'll definitely continue using it and I'll definitely enjoy using it. So yeah, if you have any questions about these brushes, then just ask them and I'll answer below on my blog or on YouTube or wherever you're watching this. Well, those are basically the only spots you could be watching this. In any case, yeah, basically I hope you enjoyed watching this. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time. Bye! Okay, I've already done the other eye in the Dutch version, so I'm going to work on this eye now. I hope I'm in focus. Basically it's, well,